Let's talk about Ash's Infernape and how its 3-season journey came to a brilliant conclusion with this specific battle. But let's dial it back a notch and go to the humble beginnings and talk about not Ash's but Paul's Chimchar. Little Fire Monkey debuted in the 3rd episode of Diamond and Pearl under the ownership of Paul, a trainer who treasures stats and pure raw strength more than the likes of friendship, values, and pretty much everything when it comes to raising and caring for Pokemon. But hey, who are we to judge? We all went for the higher level Pokemon in the grass as kids, don't deny it. The debut saw Chimchar taking a beating from Ash's A-Palm, which was not a strong start, especially not helped by Paul's scolding. The young trainer reveals to us that he captured the Fire Monkey after witnessing an impressive bit of skill while surrounded by a pack of Zangoose. Chimchar had used his Blaze ability, which grants the Pokemon more damage and attacks when in bad health, to fire will those Zangoose away. Paul captured it after that, and since then he tried to bring that fire out of Chimchar through tough training, but to no use. This goes on for the length of this whole 1st season, and every time Ash's path intersects with Paul's, we see the trainer be very harsh on Chimchar, which obviously makes the Pokemon feel insecure, belittled and afraid. But I just cannot imagine why it's not developing, right Paul? In one instance, the young lad was shown training Chimchar by having his other Pokemon spam attacks at him. A tiny bit extreme if you ask me. That type of harsh training injured Chimchar so much Ash and the crew had to take him to Nurse Joy for treatment. The season finale sees Paul so frustrated with Chimchar that he releases it in the wild. Now that was a mind-blowing scene for a Pokemon fan, cause we hadn't seen anything like that in the anime with that much build-up and episodes put into it. Man, the Infernape arc is one of my favorites in this whole anime. Ash offers Chimchar a helping hand, asking the tiny Pokemon to join his team, which the Firestarter does with a smile on its face. Ash was the perfect trainer to raise Chimchar. The starter needed nurturing, dedication, and an arm around his shoulder. Our young protagonist was the best at giving that to his Pokemon, so from the start, we, the audience, could feel how this would be a perfect fit. He treated them as his friends and companions, unlike Paul, who handled them more like his workers or weapons to success. We get 80 episodes of Chimchar as Ash's Pokemon until it evolved into Inferno. In the process, he even conquered his fear of Zangoose. In the episode Tears for Fears, in order to save our protagonist and Team Rocket, he had to face 3 Zangoose, which he managed to do thanks to the confidence Ash had raised in him. There were trainer and gym battles, some lost, some won, and some clashed in a phenomenal manner, like the gym battle against Candice, where Chimchar, as Ash's last remaining Pokemon, managed to defeat a fucking Abomasnow. That's dedication and progress. He, later on, evolved into Monferno in the episode Evolving Strategies, which was in the middle of a battle against Paul. What better way to do it than against his old trainer? Chimchar was the last in the Pokemon Ash's team, and he went up against an Ursaring. Through sheer determination, he took out the massive bear and evolved into Monferno slowly afterwards. It then went up against Electabuzz, and even though in the end it unfortunately fell defeated, he still put up a brilliant fight. Paul's Electabuzz is no joke, and Monferno took it up like a champ. It was a very close loss, so the progress is there. Much quicker afterwards, around 30ish episodes, Ash went up against Barry, a fellow Pokemon trainer and a recurring character in the Diamond and Pearl seasons. He's also your rival in the games. This battle was one where Monferno completed his evolution cycle and took up the name of Infernape. Monferno was sent out against Barry's Empoleon. After a bit of back and forth, with some fantastic moves on Monferno's part, Empoleon hits an absolute home run on the Firestarter, blasting it off in the woods. Team Rocket shows up on the scene and captures everyone, planning to take away their Pokemon until Monferno, with his Blaze ability activated, comes out of the woods to cause chaos. He takes out the morally ambiguous trio and almost causes damage to its friend's Pokemon. When Monferno is in the state caused by Blaze, it acts very aggressive and wild. It is hard to stop. Ash manages to calm it down with sheer strength and powerful words, enough so that it would realize what's happening and get rescue the Pokemon from the cage. In the process, evolving into Infernape right before Paul's eyes. Taka was also here, and we can tell how pissed he was that Chimchar managed to come all this way under Ash's wing. When our protagonist added Chimchar to his team, we saw Paul tell them that they were meant to be together because they're both pathetic. Well, let's see who's right. In the quarterfinals of the Sinnoh Championship, Ash faces off against Paul. This battle marks the conclusion of our arc, Infernape going up against its old trainer on the biggest stage in the region. After a formidable battle displaying phenomenal skill from both parties, it ends with Electivire versus Infernape. The writers cooked with this. We know that Electivire, since it was just a mere Elekid, and just like Chimchar did with Ash, that Elekid grew stronger alongside Paul and reached its full potential. There was also a rivalry between the two, from the days they were both practically babies. Elekid always projected a sense of superiority over Chimchar, trying to make the Fire Monkey feel weak in his presence. He probably learned all that stuff from Paul, not gonna lie. From being a weak asset on the same team as Elekid, Infernape now has to face it one-on-one in the quarterfinals, the winner pulling through to the next round. The two went back and forth exchanging moves until it seemed that Electivire got the upper hand and put Infernape in its place. The Firestarter wanted to prove itself to Paul. He wanted to defeat its ex-trainer and show him just how powerful it had become, and with its fainting breath, its Blaze ability had activated. Raw fire strength was bursting through Infernape's body. It clashed with Electivire, who was standing its ground as much as it could. The fire and electric Pokemon created a tornado of power from their clash, booming in the sky above. It seemed like it could go either way, as both Pokemon have taken immense damage. But one final blow was just too much for Electivire. it falling on its knees, which gave Ash the win, advancing to the semi-finals. It's also poetic in a fashion. Up to that point, on every occasion that two trainers met and battled, Paul had come victorious, and it obviously pissed Ash. He knew that Paul's way of training and treating his Pokemon was wrong, but his point couldn't come fully across because Paul would win against him every goddamn time, which I understand how furious it can be. Infernape is Ash's vessel to help get that point across in their final battle, and even though our protagonist just lost and lost for the course of these 4 seasons, when it mattered the most, on the biggest scene, he was able to defeat Paul and knock him out of the tournament. Ash runs onto the field to hug Infernape, thanking it for the win, and now it's Paul's turn. He acknowledged the strength of his ex-partner. Just that smile and glare was enough to show that he now respects Infernape, and that's all the Fire Monkey wanted. Ash unfortunately fell short in the next round due to his opponent having Darkrai, which how is that allowed in the tournament? But it doesn't really matter. Ash's Sinnoh team is one of my personal favorites. It is the one I grew up with as a kid. Every Pokemon felt like they deserved their spot and tried to push all the way. Reaching the semi-final was not an easy job to do, and Infernape held the process a ton. It went from a scarred and confused Chimchar to a confident, brave, and very powerful Infernape. And yes, you need support to achieve that performance. Ash guided this little fella through 3 seasons of adventures, but what I think needs more credit is Chimchar's mindset. It's all about the mentality and how you perceive stuff. Being written off and downright abandoned by the person who took care of you would be harsh on anyone in any situation, and even though someone new came along and wanted to help you pull through, you might always just be insecure about your personal strengths. What if this guy abandons me as well? And that's why Infernape deserves all the praise and more. Over the course of the seasons, the Blaze ability had always been a problem for Chimchar and Monferno, but not just because of the inability to use it. Whenever the Pokemon had it activated, it went feral, shifted personalities, and became way more aggressive and animalistic, which Ash tried its hardest to get under control. He hacked the Pokemon even though it hurt him, to try to calm him down and remember that they're friends and promise to help each other grow stronger together, and that's another reason why Ash and Chimchar were a perfect fit. It's one of the Pokemon that always stands out in my mind when I think about Ash's team along his journey, and I might even dare to say it was its most powerful fire type, and he probably would have won if that Darkrai wielding guy wouldn't have entered the competition. I think we can all take a thing or two from Infernape and try to better ourselves in the best ways we can. The Pokemon's last appearance is in the Journey seasons, where Ash comes back to Professor Oak's lab to train his team for the Master 8 tournament. There we spot Infernape acting as a guide to Ash's other fire Pokemon. It became a leader. It fought beside Ash against a Monferno, and we could sense that after all this time, the chemistry was still there. They still were in sync and knew how to battle together. It also ran into Paul there, and it wasn't afraid. Fully confident. He also helped Gengar to learn Will-O-Wisp. That's my goat, Infernape. People are talking about the synergy between Ash and Greninja, but to be perfectly honest, I kind of prefer his relationship with Infernape more, and I feel that it's kind of slept upon. This journey had more bumps in the road, which is why I consider it makes you feel more satisfied when in the end you watch defeat Paul as Ash's last standing Pokemon. Infernape had such a good arc. If you've enjoyed this and want to see more videos from me, then don't forget to leave me a like and subscribe, and also share a comment down below. Tell me your opinion on Infernape and how you perceive its journey. I'd love to hear from y'all. Until next time, have a great day guys, stay safe, bye.